How's it, everybody? Celtic here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are taking down the Bond of Friendship mission for the new Supreme Magnificent battle up against the Super Saiyan Trunks. Now, I know this mission is probably... Actually, I do think this one is much harder than the final stage against the Gohan here. So you can see the team we're running here. We have the new Gohan and Goten's team. Right, if you're utilizing this team, probably not going to have too many issues. If you don't have these guys, I definitely do finding a way to recommend them. So we're actually going to use an item here because I'm going to show you guys at the end, but Trunks is basically throwing out a 16 million super here, and if we miss a dodge, it's game over, and this is my last attempt for the day. So we're using an item to ensure that we get through this phase. Really, I mean... If it wasn't for the fact that there we go, we do get the dodge, thank goodness. I missed that like 4 times in a row and immediately lost. So if you're not going for the missions, this fight is actually incredibly easy because you can utilize things like Omega's team that immediately passive debuff the boss to the point where he can't touch you. But for, you know, something like this where, I mean, there's almost no characters on this team who can passively debuff. You have some attack lures, not many, but some, that can deal a pretty hefty chunk of damage, as well as bringing the character down low enough that it's a non-issue. However, you're still going to have to rely on dodge for some of the big supers, right? It'll be hit or miss whether or not we succeed here. I'm kind of hoping we do. It looks like we are kind of getting through this first phase a lot quicker than I anticipated, which isn't necessarily bad, right? Next turn, we'll be able to exchange the Gohan and Goten and Trunks. And then, of course, the next time the Fizz Brats show up, they will be able to have their guaranteed dodge. So, I mean, honestly, it's not a bad first turn here. And if we get the kill here, we have a... Yes, we do get it. Okay, wow, this is going to be really interesting for this next rotation here. Okay, so this Trunks, same thing, right? Debuffs we want to take full advantage of here. So we're going to grab this with the Gohan in slot 1. We're going to grab that with the Chi-Chi. Not having Kid Goku is obviously a big problem for Chi-Chi. So good thing we get to put her in slot 2 where there's not a whole lot going on. Right, and right now we do still have that Whis active for the extra 40% damage reduction. So technically, right now, Gohan has 100% damage reduction. We'll try not to use an item for the rest of this. It's just literally just to get through that first phase because, like I said, he hits pretty hard, and this is our last attempt. Alright, and here comes the super on Gohan. Alright, thank goodness. Alright, we get out this super with Chi-Chi. Obviously, the more supers we get with Chi-Chi, the better, because it does mean, right, she is going to attack lower greater. Excellent. Okay, and now we have the Pan. Now, the Pan was tricky here because we do need her to evolve, dodge here at the end. Oh, wow, okay, she actually didn't. I was expecting that to be a death because we didn't dodge. Now, Trunks' super was scripted, and I was counting on that dodge. So, had we not have a Whis active, we absolutely would have died to that super, despite some of the attack lowering that we did do. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and let's pop the active on the Goten and Trunks here. There we go, 54 million. So the Trunks, yes, we can be attack lowering, but just like the Gohan stage, you want to kind of blitz through as quickly as you can. And again, this is why I mentioned that Omega's team being really good for this. Excellent. There we go. Alright, we get the full dodge. And then now... Alright, so... Trick here is we only built up 1 turn with the Gohan, which means crit isn't the highest for them, and of course we don't get the crit. Okay. Can we get a crit on this? No crit on this one. Okay, I feel like this is what's going to hold us back the most, not getting the crits. There we go. Alright, here we go. Jeez, look at that attack stat. Why are the AGL at Goten and Trunks so strong? This is insane for super easy A. Alright, and then now we got Kid Goku. Obviously, we got his attack buff going on. He's not going to do a whole lot, but if we can get a crit here. Alright, nice. Crit. There we go. Oh, it doesn't matter. It was the last one. Okay, so there we go. And look at that. We get our guaranteed dodge turn here. So let's go ahead and pop that with the Fizz, Goten, and Trunks. So we know that he's going to super there within one of those attacks, scripted super. Hey, let's go ahead and let's turn this off. Let's pop the animation here. Alrighty, excellent. So, there we go. Alright, so hopefully if all goes well, like we got 3 bars of HP here. We can do this. Hopefully. There we go. We get the dodge. Love this guaranteed dodge turn. So it's 35 million. Jeez, remember when that was an insane attack stat just this time last year? There we go. We get another soup. Nope. Alright, so we do get the unit super, which means everybody's going to be buffed by that. Alright. There we go, additional super. And then here we go, 100 mil on the Goten and Trunks. Very nice. Okay, so potentially could kill here, but again, just like the other one, no crits. Oh, jeez. So we're getting more and more in a dangerous position here, the less and less we have the ability to crit. There we go. There's the crit. And then Chi-Chi gonna do the rest. Excellent. Alright, one more with Chi-Chi. Perfect. Alright, now. So, didn't crit where we needed crit, so we weren't able to finish last turn, but I think... Okay, we're going to have to take a big risk here, but if it pays off, it will be worth it. So, hopefully we don't miss a dodge here. We do have the full team for Gohan, which means we do have the full Bond of Friendship category here. Okay, look at that. Beautiful. One more. Alright, let's get that crit here. Come on. We'd be done already if you guys would just crit. One more. There it is. Okay. At least it's a super, not an anticlimactic normal. Alrighty, so there you go. There is Bond of Friendship against the second stage against the Kid Trunks. Like I said, even though Trunks' super is scripted, right? It's always going to be in those specific spots. It's still kind of a bit of a pain to manage. He just hits so hard in the new fights, like ridiculously hard to start, so you gotta kind of play around that. Now the nice thing is he can be debuffed, which means for teams that can debuff, you can actually you can utilize that and have a much easier time. But of course, right, for if you're trying to run something like this for the mission, that's not always going to be possible. So just real quick, I wanted to flip over here so we could take a look here at what's happening with Trunks, right? So again, as I mentioned before, right, we've got that 12 million super coming out of him right away, and then 5 million normals. So again, you really want to bring debuffing characters. Passive debuffing characters like STR Omega are huge for this fight. Then once you get into Super Saiyan Trunks, right, we've got a 16 million super and 6 million normals. Much easier to deal with at this point, even though this is a lot, because the more the turns go on, the weaker he's going to get. Add on to that his super is scripted. This is where Omega comes in really handy. He is always going to super in Action 5. So if you can predict that, and Action 4 too, if you can predict that, you can actually utilize Omega's action cancels to just get rid of the super entirely. So one thing we have been getting from these new stages is that there is no one answer to any fight. There is no one team that is perfect in any fight, right? And that is never more apparent here with these two bosses, with the Trunks and with the Gohan that we did in the previous video. So just be aware, right? You may have to experiment, but also don't try to brute force it with certain characters who just aren't made for this event. So guys, that is it for the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know what team did you use to get the Bond of Friendship mission? Would love to hear the teams you guys came up with in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.